Okay, Alicia, you have a good beginning here. For one thing, the composition is good. I'm presuming you expressed a desire to add lettering, which you may. I guess it would go here. But in case you're not considering it, there are other factors to be thought about. So for one thing, it's underexposed. Remember, you're shooting on black. Black soaks up light. You have to consider that. But if you look at the histogram, let's see, can I fetch the histogram now? Let's see if I can quickly find it. Let's see here, histogram. Here's what the histogram looks like. So as you can see, it's very underexposed. Pixels are piling up on the bottom. Kind of makes sense because you have a dark black background, but your highlights are living in the midtones. So we got to pump up the exposure, excuse me. So this is a little better. So let's bring back the histogram and look at that. So we have, it's a little bit better. So the highlights should ideally stretch out to here. I don't really want to push it, but I suppose I could. 1 second here. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so histogram. See, there we go. But I overdid it because we're starting to get clipping. Clipping means that details are starting to block up in the highlights. Little areas like here, but we're starting to push it. See it right here? Ideally, we don't want that. So we have to dial that back a little bit. Anyway, let's indeed dial that back. 1 second here. I'm going to dial it back just a touch. Yeah, okay. That's fine. All right, we'll leave it at that. Now, here's another thing for you to do. Well, first of all, by increasing the exposure, we got some of that nice reflection because you're using some kind of highly reflective material. It's either plexi or there is a reflective kind of seamless out there. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but that's what you may have gotten a hold of. You might want to share that with me. Yeah, so we can up the exposure a touch and get that nice reflection. Here's the other thing. The other thing you can do, you can get gels, put it on your light, and get something like this. Add some fancy schmancy to your product. This is kind of vanilla ice cream compared to this, where you're jazzing it up a little bit. So consider these options for this shot. Okay, moving on to the other one. Okay, now again, see you have this nice reflective background. You're a little too close to the edge here. I would, unless you have a very valid reason for doing it this way, I would move this back a little bit. Maybe you want it to move away from the background, which is fine. But if you have a little bit of room there, move it back so you can get some edge, some more breathing room here. Also, another example where you can use a gel. Look how you can really jazz up the image. If you're not putting type up here, jazz it up with some kind of gel over your light. And that's going to give it a nice edge. It'll cut across this dead space, even this blue ray of light. It'll cut across the dead space and give you something more interesting. Okay, so I will write some more comments in your gradebook, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, very good, and I'll talk to you next time.